Explain all this, Alana.
Shannon, Gratitude House is one of only 2 places in the county that houses women battling both drug and alcohol addictions and makes space for their children. But now it's discovered the decades-old main dorm is too dangerous for these families to live in. And while the organization is trying to find new homes for nearly 30 women and children, it's also trying to find $100,000 for repairs. For 50 years, Gratitude House has helped women overcome their addictions.
I struggle with alcohol and different substances. So I needed to be in a long-term treatment facility.
But now the nonprofit is struggling to fix the very home these women live in.
We found that there were so many things going on with that building that we needed to move the girls and to try to repair the buildings.
They showed us the damage: holes in the ceiling, water leaks, broken AC units, and potential mold in the air system. The damage will cost $100,000 to fix. And because babies live in this home too, staff told me it's unsafe for anyone to live in.
God will provide. That's my belief.
Cynthia Reardon used to live in Gratitude House, but after recovering, she came back to help.
No matter where they're going to be, they can take what they learned here with them. And, you know, it's not starting over, it's just continuing their journey.
Some are going to other agencies, while others are even staying in the administration's offices.
Something, unfortunate, but, I can adjust fast and move on.
The mom staying here didn't want to be identified, but this one is staying positive.
I'm not as worried because I know the things are going to work out.
Now, Gratitude House does get some funding from the state as well as Palm Beach County, but it says it's not enough to cover the $100,000 repair tab. It hopes community support can help the group get the repairs needed to get those ladies back into their dorm. For the Now South Florida, I'm Alana Quillen.
Breaking news, an arrest just made in the death of an 11-month-old baby last December. Boynton Beach police have arrested 24-year-old Adeline Edwards in the death of her nephew. Investigators say Caleb was found unconscious and not breathing on Friday, December 23rd, and died the next day. Florida's Department of Children and Families say he fell off a couch while sleeping. Police say Edwards is facing first-degree murder and aggravated child abuse charges. A wild morning along Okeechobee Boulevard. A man robbed a bar and led sheriff's deputies on a short chase and shootout.
A deputy was hurt. We haven't been told much more except that he will be okay. The gunman, though, got away.
Just a few miles away along Haverhill Road, West Palm Beach police say a carjacker shot a man, then took off with his food truck. New surveillance video showed someone ditching the food truck not far from where it was stolen. Now, News Channel 5's Charlie Keegan with an update on how the owner of that food truck is doing. Charlie.
Michael, I know that the victim in this case is a man in his 60s, and police expect him to survive. I spoke with the man's boss, and he said that this victim was shot in the jaw and in the stomach. That shooting took place here in this parking lot at about 5:30 this morning. The triggerman opening fire and then taking off in that man's food truck.
I received a phone call from his wife saying
the early morning phone call didn't bring good news to Elko Arango. Someone shot his employee and then stole his lunch truck from this shopping center near Roebuck and Haverhill Roads in West Palm Beach.
It surprised me. It was in a shopping plaza with his people walking every morning to get coffee on the Dunkin' Donuts, and that's why he was hanging out there, because people, I guess there's those guys that don't care.
The thief didn't take the vehicle far. This surveillance video shows the truck parked outside the iHeartRadio studios near Congress and 45th Street. You see a dark shadow leave the truck and then run away.
So apparently they were looking for money. They weren't looking to rob food or rob drinks or nothing.
Arango said the thief didn't take anything from the truck, but the attack has Arango and other employees concerned for their safety on these early shifts.
We all pray for Eddie to be okay and for us to be safe. I'm a mother of 2 kids, and I don't want to have this kind of incident.
So police described the shooter who opened fire in this parking lot as a man about 5 feet 5 inches tall with a stocky build. If you have any information, do call Crime Stoppers. And I also spoke today with the man who found that stolen food truck. Ahead at 6, we'll tell you why he was so motivated to call police. In West Palm Beach, I'm Charlie Keegan for WPTV News Channel 5.
Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputies continue to search for a man they say shot at them early this morning. One deputy, as we said at the outset, was injured but is already out of the hospital. How he sustained an injury. What kind of injury? Not yet clear. Deputies say the gunman robbed Duggan's pub at about 4 a.m., then crashed his car near Okeechobee Boulevard and Church Street. At that point, the man started shooting at deputies who shot back. If you have any information, please call Crime Stoppers. Stop what you're doing right now and take a close look at your screen. Do you know who this man is? Delray Beach police say 27-year-old Matthew Gaines is missing and considered endangered. If you know where he is, please call police. We've also posted his picture on our WPTV Facebook page for you to share.
Firefighters from South Carolina are heading all the way down south here to Florida to help fire crews as we are in the middle of this brush fire season. This comes as the Treasure Coast, as Okeechobee County, Inland Palm Beach County, all under a fire warning until 8 o'clock tonight, Steve. So just, I mean, conditions are perfect for that.
Yeah, we have pretty low humidities, very warm temperatures. We still have that wind out there, Kelly, and we haven't seen rain in days and days. There is some rain in the forecast, though. We are looking, though, that actually could be extended, Kelly, that fire weather warning as we get into Friday night and Saturday, too. There is some rain moving into the Panhandle now. That's all part of a front that'll eventually work into South Florida on Sunday. That'll bring us some soggy weather, but until then, it is dry out there. There's a smoke from that fire that is around Orlando now. Of course, Live Viper 5 Max can pick up the smoke from fires around the state, and that's it right there, all blowing toward the coastline. So here's the drought monitor. You can see we're in extreme conditions across the interior South and Central Florida, and most of the Treasure Coast and back into Palm Beach County. Now, dry tonight and very hot and humid. We had 89 officially today. We're going to be on the high 80s and low 90s tomorrow. Rain as we get into Mother's Day, and the timing pretty interesting. I'll let you know the best times to get outside this weekend and see some sunshine and enjoy the Mother's Day celebrations. That's all coming up in just a few minutes.
It is now the law. Governor Scott today signing a bill to build a reservoir south of Lake Okeechobee aimed to curb future discharges of excess water from the lake, like the ones that had to go east and west and led to those huge algae blooms we saw plaguing the Treasure Coast last summer. Today, the governor signing the bill just outside South Bay, and News Channel 5's Alex Hagan is live from Lake Okeechobee with how the legislation got done. Alex?
Well, Michael, the original bill proposed to buy 60,000 acres south of Lake Okeechobee. That, of course, did not sit well with a lot of people here on the Glades. So a lot of people at this bill signing, they called this new legislation, this revised bill, a compromise, making sure everybody was happy with this solution. Now, the law calls on both the state and the federal government to split the $1.6 billion cost for this smaller, deeper reservoir on state land only. We're told this will reduce those harmful discharges by at least 60%. Today, as the governor signed this bill into law, people from the Glades and Treasure Coast communities watched. In the end, Governor Rick Scott says everyone was able to work together to come up with this solution that would potentially cut down on those algae blooms that we saw all last summer, while also keeping the jobs here along Lake Okeechobee.
If you don't get pushed to get things done, they seem to go on and on forever. I don't ever want to see the green guacamole algae again in Indian River Lagoon, the dirty water over towards Sanibel. I don't ever want to see that again.
Now, Congress and the president both have to authorize those federal dollars still. Now, coming up all new at 6 o'clock, the governor's next top priority here on Lake Okeechobee. Reporting live in Belglade, Alex Hagan, WPTV, News Channel 5.
We now know when the first-degree murder trial will start for Kimberly Lucas, or at least when it's slated to. She's the Jupiter woman charged with killing her former partner's daughter in 2014. News Channel 5, Jason Hackett with the details.
The trial, long delayed because of questions over Florida's death penalty, set to get underway in September, much to the relief of the victim's family.
Every time we have to come to court, every time we have to rehash what happened, it's reliving that day, and that's very difficult.
For Jacqueline Jamison, it's been nearly 3 years since her former partner, Kimberly Lucas, allegedly drowned her 2-year-old daughter, Eliana, and attempted to kill the girl's brother. She tells me today's decision, setting a trial date, is bringing her family a little closer to justice.
Fantastic. It's wonderful to finally have a resolution, a little bit anyway, something to look forward to.
While Lucas was not in court today, Judge Charles Burton nevertheless set September 14th as the start date for the trial. Prosecutors say they will be seeking the death penalty. That resulted in a delay in the trial starting while the new death penalty law made its way through the court system. Attorneys in the case say the trial should take about a month. Lucas's attorneys have already said they plan on pursuing an insanity defense in this case. In West Palm Beach, Jason Hackett, WPTV News Channel 5.
The man accused of killing a Vero Beach nurse almost 3 years ago was in court today, but a trial date still has not been set, and that's disappointing the victim's family. Michael Jones is accused of murdering Diana Duvet in June of 2014. Police say Jones stuffed her body in the trunk of her own car, which was discovered at a public shopping center in Melbourne. The next hearing is set for the end of August, and Duvet's mother says the delays are discouraging. Prosecutors say they will be seeking the death penalty.
The woman charged in the crash that killed Delray Beach police officer Christine Braswell back in court today. Lacey Morris charged with DUI manslaughter in that crash. News Channel 5's Wanda Moore joins us now live from Plantation Key Courthouse with the story you'll see only on 5. Wanda.
10 days after her arrest, Lacey Morris appeared before a judge today, pleading not guilty on all charges.
First case called is Lacey Morris.
It's day 2 of Lacey Morris's first appearance in Plantation Key. Yesterday's was cut short when legal questions came up.
Good morning, Mr. Hoffman.
Today, her lawyer, Evan Hoffman, present. Her first appearance 10 days after her arrest in Broward County.
We've already filed our pleadings on behalf of Ms. Morris, pleading back guilty.
Pleading not guilty on all charges, which are DUI manslaughter, DUI serious bodily injury, DUI property damage, and possession of less than 20 grams of marijuana.
All right, ma'am, yours again scheduled in front of Judge Jones on June 1st. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Her bond is currently $170,000. Morris's lawyer told me he'll ask to have her bond reduced. He also said many of the details in the case have not been revealed yet.
Remember, there's still a lot of results and tests that are out there that we haven't even seen yet.
That includes the toxicology report of Officer Christine Braswell and Officer Bernenda Mark, who was injured in the crash. Morris's blood alcohol level was at more than double the legal limit. Hoffman also wants to contest the marijuana charge against Morris, saying the cannabis could have been her passenger's.
Unless they could prove it was her possession or they could prove that she constructively possessed it, that it's not going to be a sufficient case for them to move forward on.
He's also making sure that Morris's blood was tested correctly. Her arraignment is on June 1st, but that might not even happen since she already filed her not guilty plea. As we were covering this hearing today, we met a Monroe County Sheriff's deputy who says he knew Officer Christine Braswell personally. Hear that story coming up all new at 6. Reporting in Plantation Key, Wanda Moore, WPTV News Channel 5.
Police in Boca Raton spent part of their morning searching for a man wanted on a drug warrant. The search prompted an alert at Florida Atlantic University. The school says the alert was sent out of an abundance of caution. Police say the suspect was sleeping in a business and had run from officers when they went to serve that warrant.
Cashmere Live in the newsroom. FedEx says it is the latest company to be hit by ransomware amid a large-scale international cyber attack. Dozens of hospitals in England were first to be targeted. Authorities say patients' information did not appear to be compromised, but this was the message that popped up on hospital computers, which have since been shut down as a protective measure. 2 security companies say more than 70 countries were affected by the cyber attack. Kelly.
Covering St. Lucie County, both the Sheriff's Office and the Fire District have a new tool when responding to emergencies during severe weather. The Sheriff's Office is acquiring a military-style heavy-duty vehicle that will help respond to areas restricted due to traditional or restricted to traditional rescue trucks. The Sheriff's Office and Fire District are set to debut this new tool next week. Traffic moving along the turnpike this after a wreck just north of Jupiter. Palm Beach County Fire Rescue says 3 people had to be taken to the hospital after the 2-car crash. One of the vehicles rolled. Florida Highway Patrol is investigating what caused the crash.
A traffic alert. Boynton Beach Boulevard will be closed at the Florida East Coast Railroad tracks starting on Monday as work goes on the tracks for All Aboard Florida. The closure begins at 7 in the morning. The road will reopen the following day at 6 p.m. And the town of Palm Beach chipping in to help with West Palm's 4th on Flagler event. According to the Palm Beach Daily News, Palm Beach Town Council members approved to pay $12,000 in sponsorship. The event cost a little more than $80,000 to put on, with $70,000 of that for the fireworks alone. Palm Beach town managers, or the manager I should say, says the sponsorship is fair since so many of its residents enjoy the great event.
New information now on a story we told you about earlier this week. This man, Dave Stewart, was found disoriented and wandering around Loxahatchee. Stewart suffers from stage 4 throat cancer and was getting medical treatment not far from where he was found. Tonight, we're happy to report Stewart is doing a little better. Doctors believe that he was either dehydrated or the chemo and the cancer medication had made him quite disoriented. Since our story aired, the American Cancer Society Relay for Life has donated 2 JetBlue tickets to Stewart's family so they can come and visit him.
Right now, temperatures feeling like summer, but see why for some local people, the price they're paying to keep cool has them losing their cool.
30% of breast cancer survivors suffer from insomnia. Tonight, the best cure to get to sleep without taking a pill.
Texting and driving, we're told again and again not to do it, but one age group says, or we're told, thinks it's perfectly fine to text behind the wheel.
And Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Steve Weagle back with your most accurate forecast in just minutes.
This is News Channel 5 at 5. Thanks for making WPTV your #1 most trusted news source.
The Palm Beach County tax collector says the county's missing out on hundreds of thousands of tax dollars.
It would come from short-term rentals such as Airbnbs. And News Channel 5's Andrew Lofholm joins us to explain what the tax collector wants and a possible timeline. Andrew?
If you pay taxes here in Palm Beach County, you got one of these notices in the mail back in November. It reminds you that if you do rent a property out here in Palm Beach County, that you have to pay taxes on that. It's called a hotel tax. Now, it's a 6% tax. For example, last year, the county raised $47 million from that bed tax. Now, Ann Gannon, the tax collector, says that there's only a few renters that actually pay the bed tax here outside of the hotel. She estimates there could be as many as 5,000 Airbnb type rentals here in the county. Now, the problem is enforcing it. It's a cumbersome task to enforce. Now, what she's asking commissioners to do is to start the conversation to begin to have a more comprehensive bed tax so the county doesn't miss out on possible revenue.
We're really trying to make this ordinance clearer, more easily understood by the public.
Now, to get something possibly passed here, she estimates the timeline, Gannon does, at 6 to 9 months. Now, we are working on this story for our later newscast, and if you do use Airbnb to make as a side job to make some revenue, we want to hear from you if you have an opinion on this and what the tax collector is trying to do. You can get in touch with our news desk or email me directly. But for now, reporting live, Andrew Lofholm, WPTV News Channel 5.
At your fingertips, you can check an app or website to see where sex offenders and predators live. But when it comes to social media, there's no red dot alerting you or your children. Contact 5 investigator Sam Smink learned sex offenders and predators cannot have social media accounts in Florida unless they register the pages with the state. But we found many are not following the law.
Did it surprise you to hear that I was able to find some unregistered on Facebook?
No, it doesn't, because there are so many sex offenders, and if they want, they can change their name at will on Facebook.
What happens when an offender or predator is caught, and why aren't more officers policing social media? You don't want to miss our Contact 5 team uncovered sex offenders on social media tonight at 11 o'clock. A health alert now. Researchers at UCLA found Tai Chi relieves insomnia in breast cancer patients. The study assigned 90 breast cancer survivors to 3 months of Tai Chi. After 15 months, nearly half the people had significant improvement in their insomnia symptoms. Researchers also found Tai Chi improved the patient's depression and fatigue.
This next story is scary for all of us, which is all of us, who are out on the roads driving, someone texting while driving, and this evening we're learning there's a group of drivers who think texting behind the wheel is just fine, or more so than most anyway. A national survey of 2,000 people by InsuranceQuotes.com found 46% of drivers between the ages of 25 and 34 said they were fine with texting and driving, despite the well-known dangers. That's compared to 13% of drivers 18 to 24 who said they're fine with texting behind the wheel. In 2015, the National Safety Council reported 6% of accidents, at least that much, caused by someone texting and driving. General Motors extending the warranty on thousands of older cars and SUVs after complaints from owners that the headlights in some vehicles can suddenly go dark. As you look at GM headquarters, turns out the headlight module can fail when exposed to engine heat. GM says it'll guarantee headlight control modules for 12 years or 150,000 miles, whichever comes first. And for a list of vehicles covered by the increased warranty, head to our website. Click as the On Scene on 5 tab.
All right, we are looking at a great start to the weekend. Temperatures today up in the high 80s, 89 officially this afternoon. We were 90 yesterday. Here's a look at the Lake Worth Pier. A little chop coming in on the beaches, but not too bad. The winds actually pick up a little bit tomorrow as we get a south and southwest wind, but it should be a nice day for the beach as we get into Saturday. Here's a look at the latest radar. And there's rain that I'm tracking. It's all part of a front that's working into the Panhandle now. Some pretty strong storms actually working from Pensacola into Panama City, and high clouds streaming across South Florida with a sun halo visible this afternoon over South Florida. You may have caught that, a halo in the sky around the sun. It's caused by ice crystals, and you may still be able to see it actually. Winds are out of the south right now at almost 15 miles an hour, and that's bringing up very warm air. Right now our temperatures are pretty much in the mid 80s, cooling off into the 60s and 70s. You can see some 90s firing up around the Treasure Coast, actually a little bit warmer. An hour by hour forecast looks pleasant. Sunset almost 8 o'clock now, 7:59, and really just a hazy sky through 10 and 11 o'clock. Lots of stars out there tonight and a bright moon in the sky too. Here's where we bottom out with our overnight lows, much like last night and the night before. 60s, Treasure Coast and inland, and around the lake, we are around the coastline of Palm Beach County, still hanging on to 70. And we still have pretty serious drought conditions for the interior of South and Central Florida. We need some rainfall, and there's some in the forecast. Unfortunately, the timing not the best here. Saturday afternoon, late in the day, we could see a shower storm fire up around coastal Palm Beach County, but it is really Sunday at this point that things start to bubble up. There's 9 in the morning. You can see already some showers working their way south. There's 12:30 in the afternoon, and then pushing through Palm Beach County during the day, through the afternoon and early evening. It's all part of this front, and this front will arrive just to the north on Saturday, and we're on the warm side of this Saturday. Sunday, we're on the soggy side with showers and the chance for a thunderstorm, and then it just kind of washes out after that. So Monday is a little unsettled too, with some rain possible during the start of the work week. 91 tomorrow, a little bit cooler on Sunday. We are looking at 88 and then 89 for Monday, and a touch cooler by the time we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. Seas at 2 to 4 tomorrow. They won't be too bad in the early morning, but by the afternoon, those winds from the south pick up pretty dramatically, actually, around 10 and 11 in the morning. So keep that in mind. 73 overnight, beautiful out there if you have plans outside. Just take it easy. It's still warm. 91 tomorrow. Lots of sunshine with a chance, isolated chance for afternoon thunderstorm. A cool front on the way for Mother's Day. We're going to talk about that and the weekend rain timing. And yes, some cooler weather. The timing for that coming up at 5:30.
Steve, thank you. We're following some breaking news now out of West Palm Beach. A few details coming in. We do know a man has been shot at the intersection of 5th Street and Division Avenue. You can see people have already gathered in that area. No word yet on the extent of the injuries. Really not too many details at this point. No identity has been released, and so far, no one is in custody. Some paddle boarders getting quite the surprise. Well, you can see right there what shocked them about this close encounter today.
And astronauts taking an historic walk into space, but it is cut short. We'll explain.
United Airlines says there's no evidence someone was bitten by a scorpion on one of its flights last night. The flight from Houston to Ecuador was delayed after a scorpion was reportedly seen coming out of a passenger's clothing. The passenger was examined and they found out that he had not been stung. It is unclear really if there ever was a scorpion on board. United says passengers were placed on a new plane and they were given meal vouchers ahead of their delayed departure. The next time you fly into Los Angeles International, things may look a little bit different. Today, LAX began its largest terminal swap in history at an active airport. For the next 3 nights, 15 airlines will move to new terminals, and they'll have to do so within the span of about 5 hours. The big move took 9 months of planning. And traffic coming to a standstill this morning in New York. If you look very closely, yes, that is actress Melissa McCarthy on a podium dressed as White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer.
McCarthy was with a film crew, of course, not just rolling down the street by herself, and of course, reportedly shooting a sketch for Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, that'll stop traffic. A milestone reached at the International Space Station. NASA astronauts Peggy Whitson and Jack Fisher completed the ISS's 200th spacewalk. By astronaut standards, a routine day in space done at the ISS on their walk for maintenance, but it was cut short after a water leak found in one of the astronauts' spacesuit connections. But they are A-OK.
That'll cut things short quickly.
It sure will, especially when the out-of-the-world walk that they're taking.
That's right. I love how they do those routine. And to you and I, it's like amazing.
You'd give anything to do it just
once.
That's
right. Michael, thank you very much.
Sure,
appreciate that. Coming up, all new at 5:30. Shock and outrage from parents seeing disturbing new video. Florida students twerking and giving lap dances inside a classroom at school. Plus, overheating laptops, the problem is more common than you might think. Why some are getting burned and how you can keep from being burned. And why you don't have to hit the gym to feel happier about yourself. Those stories and more with Shannon and I see you for News Channel 5 at 5:30.
We do begin with some breaking news tonight. Crews right now fighting this brush fire. It's burning to our north in Osceola County. This is the Poinciana area, right near the Polk County line. Crews do say the fire has spread about 10 acres at this point. That's seems they've contained it at that point because we've been reporting that for about an hour now. 10 acres is where the fire stands at the moment. The Florida Forestry Service telling us that this fire broke out near the Cypress Parkway. It is covering both sides of that important roadway, that important corridor. The section, or a section of the road, has been shut down at this point. It has left 2,000 Energy Power customers without power at the moment. You see that smoke pushing there to the right of the screen. The fire is also really close to the Poinciana Medical Center. I'm getting word, I believe that is the medical center. You see right there in the center of your screen. New patients are being diverted to other hospitals at this point.
Also, firefighters checking out potential hot spots. This after a small brush fire broke out in Jupiter. It is contained. This is video just shot by Chopper 5, the only local helicopter covering breaking news first and fast. The quarter-acre fire broke out near Tony Penna Drive and Military Trail. Crews are taking hoses into the woods to douse the flames.
Right now, a live look outside from High 5 tonight. The Treasure Coast, Okeechobee, and inland Palm Beach County all under a fire warning until 8 o'clock.
Storm Team 5 Chief Meteorologist Steve Weigel with just how high the temperatures climbed today. Steve.
Well, we got up into the high 80s and low 90s. Here's where a fire weather warning is for tonight. Red flag warning across most of the viewing area, all the way up in toward Orlando and central Florida. There's some rain on the radar tonight working into the panhandle that'll eventually be here on the weekend. And here's the smoke from that fire in Osceola County in central Florida. The winds this afternoon in this area blowing from the southwest toward the northeast. And we do have temperatures that are still in the 80s across and low 90s. If you're heading outside tonight, looks nice, kind of hazy sky, sunset about 8 o'clock tonight, and a beautiful start to the weekend. But rain on the way. I'll let you know when coming up.
Steve, thank you. New at 5:30 tonight, the next time your AC unit breaks down, the hot temperatures may be only the beginning of your worries. Some local repair companies say the price of a key component has skyrocketed.
News Channel 5's Jason Hackett joins us live at Delray Beach to tell us how it could impact you at home. Jason.
OJ and Shannon, we're talking about Freon. It's something that's easy to take for granted, but it's something that keeps you cool and comfortable with your AC unit on a hot day like this. But what's going on now is making some people a bit uncomfortable. Tom Donahue is used to the temperatures going up around this time of year, but he says his AC repair company, Major Tom's, and others are really feeling the heat, and soon enough, so may your wallet.
All right. It could hurt the little guy in a bad way. Somebody's making a lot of money though. It's not us, believe me.
Donahue says almost overnight, the price of Freon, the refrigerant crucial to AC units, has gone up big time.
One vendor that we buy refrigerant from, the cost went up 3 times in one day.
I called several vendors and the news is the same. But why? Donahue says your guess is as good as his.
We've called our suppliers, our sales reps, nobody knows.
The bottom line for you, the consumer, don't be surprised if the next AC repair bill is a little higher, as costs will be passed down to you.
We've just about doubled what we were charging before. Their prices go up, it trickles down to the consumer. And unfortunately, they're the ones that always get hurt in something like this.
And if the trend continues, it could put some smaller companies out of work.
The people that they service may not be able to afford it.
Donahue says with no answers from Freon manufacturers so far, he's not sure how long the trend will last. Now, we have reached out to several major manufacturers of these refrigerants, including DuPont, but we have yet to hear back from them. Live tonight, Jason Hackett, WPTV News Channel 5.